All right, all praises to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yasharallah, Shalom. All right, so we're going to get into another video here off Rumble. So it says, WEF Insider reveals 30 million fake ballots ready to be injected on election night. And this video, actually, it lines right up with the last one that we did, pertaining to a similar title, okay? And it's about the election, man, okay? What the American people don't understand, and some probably never understand, that your vote does not matter. It doesn't matter, okay? If anything, all they need is your numbers. They need people to go down and vote, and then they manipulate the system. All right. So let's play this video. We'll get into it.
The entertainment industry is in turmoil as an FBI investigation into Sean Diddy Combs' underage sex and drugs blackmail scandal threatens to expose some of the most powerful names in entertainment, sport.
I don't know what happened. There's something. Bear with me. All right. So I don't know what was up with that one. It was the right title, but it was a different video playing. All right. So let's try this again.
The Global Elite have meticulously analysed the situation and concluded that Democrat nominee Kamala Harris is set to lose the popular votes by an astonishing 30 million votes this November. This is according to a World Economic Forum contractor, who warns a covert operation is underway to deal with what the elite are calling the shortfall in Democrat votes required to achieve the optimal outcome. This multi-pronged voter fraud operation aims to undermine the very integrity of our electoral process, and includes injecting tens of millions of fake ballots into the system. Because, according to an internal WF document, the American people require assistance in electing the correct candidates for their own benefit.
You see that? And that's exactly how these so-called elite think. All right, you need assistance in selecting your candidate. All right, basically, they're saying that you need us to think for you. Okay.
Before we dive in, join the People's 2020 election. Social media platforms clamped down hard on so-called election deniers, kicking millions of patriotic Americans off their platforms. And voting machine companies went after anyone who dared to raise concerns. But here's something you might not know. In 2020, a USPS truck driver under oath claimed that he drove one of several trucks filled with at least 1 million completed ballots from New York to other states.
And this is the same thing that we mentioned last time we did one of these videos. Where was all this, revealing information when it was necessary? People keep coming out with things after the fact. Well, after the fact is just that. After the fact, it's too late. I mean, I guess it's not really too late to bring it out, but when it would have mattered, when it would have caused a stir up, why wasn't it not spoken about then? All right. And anyways.
It's not just a conspiracy theory. This is real testimony with evidence about 1 million fraudulent ballots for Biden, buried and ignored by the media. They don't want you to know. We'll dive deeper into that damning case later. It's critical that more people know the truth because the global elite rigged the US election once, and now they're gearing up to do it again. Early voters are already reporting their votes are being flipped from Donald Trump to Kamala Harris.
James Carpenter, I just voted in the White Settlement election. I voted for one president, checked it on the video screen. When I got the paper ballot, it had the other candidate's name on it. Check.
Bam, right there. You see?
Your paper ballots, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you see? This is the stupidity of the American people. That's all they need is you to go down there and vote. All right, they get the numbers. And once they get the numbers, they can choose to use the numbers for whatever they want, which is, and this, like I said, the stupidity of the American people. All right, your votes do not count because you have to go down there to their voting booths and input it into a system. Well, who runs the system? You see? As long as you have to use their system to input who you think should be the new presidential candidate or the president, all right, they can just, once it gets into their system take the vote that you made and do whatever they want to it. And that's exactly what they've done. They only need your numbers. They don't need your opinion. They just need your numbers. So as long as your numbers flow in, they can take your numbers and manipulate them to have it vote for whatever candidate that they wanted to. And this actually gives more insight on how they did it now with the Biden-Trump election, all right? Because Trump, just like I mentioned before, Trump was winning in the numbers with Kamala. Was he not? If I'm correct, he was winning in the numbers with Biden. But then all of a sudden, come election night, this dude wins. You see? How's that happen? How you hold the majority percentage, but then come election, all of a sudden, oh, now it's neck and neck. Wait a minute. The numbers were overwhelming, you see? But this is the manipulation of the system and manipulation of the American people. We need you idiots to allow us to think for you. That's basically how these elites see it, man. Okay? Bring your numbers down there and we'll choose who your vote is for. And so on the paper ballot, it's gonna register that you voted for the candidate we wanted you to vote for, even if you did or even if you voted for the opposite one. See? But when are the American people going to wake up from this? They're not. Because they're not looking for answers in the Holy Bible. They're not looking for the Holy One of Israel. They're looking for opinions and political issues to make America great again. All right? Or to make everyone equal. And all these other things that they come with, man. But bam, there you go. All right?
Sir? My name is Lucas Clark, and I voted here at White Settlement Library in Fort Worth. I was in line for about 45 minutes, and there were two people that came out and said that their ballots were changed.
If they succeed,
And do you think this is going to stop people from voting? No. Okay?
it will change the course of the nation, maybe even the world, forever. According to a man who contracts for the World Economic Forum in Davos, among other globalist organizations, the elite believe.
And we know Davos is where they hold their meetings, all right, with the World Economic Forum, all right, Davos, Switzerland. So this guy right here, not on the screen, but I guess the one that's about to come up, he's an insider, all right, and we've been having a lot of whistleblowers, okay, over this past, short time, okay. But the scriptures do say that their own tongue shall fall upon themselves, all right? That goes into the whistleblowers too, because those that have been inside, maybe certain meetings or having certain information, who have been silenced or agreed to be silent, all right? Because people do that as well. And then on their deathbed, they reveal this, or when they become disgruntled, or when they become a whistleblower, whatever the case may be, all right? But people who have a substantial amount of information that is actual, facts. And then at some point they come out, and that's just the doing of the Lord. All right. Excuse me, to bring these things out.
They have perfected the multi-prong attack on the electoral system, and they are pumping tens of millions of fake ballots into the swing states as we speak.
I've taken this information to every major news outlet, but none of them are brave enough to report it. The truth is, I've been part of something terrible. Something I never imagined I'd be involved in.
Whoever it is sounds like they have an accent.
What we're doing is going to change the course of this country and the world, and not in a good way. People need to understand what's really happening, because what I've been part of is nothing less than an assault on our democracy. I work for a shadowy international organization. You've probably never heard of us, and there's a reason for that. But you definitely recognize the people we work for.
Now, if he's such a whistleblower, why not reveal who this entity is?
We've been interfering in elections across the globe for years, and I thought we were doing it to bring stability to chaotic regions.
How can you think that manipulating people's you would just call it a choice, okay, is bringing about some kind of good, all right? There's a word for it, I can't think of it right now, but that's complete manipulation, man. And there's nothing good out of trying to manipulate people, but whatever, because we're not on any of these people's sides, man. Okay, we're with the Lord.
But this time, we're turning our focus to the US, to your election. And it's not just about tampering with a few votes. This is systematic. It's calculated and it's on a massive scale. The plan.
There you go, right there. Systematic and calculated, because these are orders that are stemming from these banking families to manipulate. That's why you wonder why we keep calling the president a puppet, because that's what the president is. He's a puppet. Okay, even if it just so happened to become a she, well, she's going to be a puppet as well. All right, whoever is president is a puppet. All right, and the government over them answers to someone. The government is not the government is not the all end all be all. All right, there's people that actually run this country that's not the government. Okay, who they keep calling the globalists, right? But never pinpoint, who these globalists are. A lot of these people, like this guy, not the one speaking, but this dude whose name I don't know, from the beginning of the video, he knows who the hell the globalists are, but he's not going to say them. He's just going to continue, like everyone else, to say globalist. All right. But anyways, let's keep going.
Plan is to target the swing states, the ones that decide everything. The strategy is simple but devastating. We've been programming the voting machines, especially in places like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona. The idea is to flip votes quietly, efficiently, so no one will even notice. It looks like your vote is going one way, but in reality, we've manipulated the back end to switch it. By the time
it actually shows how foolish American people are too, because if they've done this before, it goes to show you that they go in there happy. Yeah, I vote for this kind of blah, 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 blah. And they go out, they get the paper ballot, and that obviously means they never checked it, okay? Because if you voted one way in the system and you come out and your paper ballot says nothing else, then that means they haven't been checking their paper ballots in the past, right? To not have picked up on this before. You see? But anyways.
Time the results come in, it'll all seem normal. But the machines are just one part of it. The real dirty work is in the ballots.
And it's funny because, when things like this happen, what do they call it? They say that there's a miscount in the system or something else is going on with the system. And it's funny because there's not anything wrong with the system. All right? It's just them, doing their job behind the scenes, man. There's not nothing wrong with the system. No one miscounted votes in a ballot or whatever. It's through an electronic system. Okay, a computer's not going to miss. It's not a human being. A computer is not going to miss. Right? So there's no problem with the system. Okay? The problem is with the people. They're ignorant and they're blinded. That's the problem.
Millions of them. Fake ballots. I've seen the operation myself. Factories running non-stop. Printing ballots that look exactly like the real thing. We've been flooding the system with them, especially in the swing states where every vote counts. They'll be counted as if they're legitimate. By the time anyone realizes what's happened, it'll be too late. We're also manipulating voter rolls. We're ordering mail-in ballots for people who shouldn't even be on the list anymore. Dead people, people who have moved, non-citizens.
You hear that? Dead people, people who have moved, non-citizens. They're taking these people's ballots and rolling them in and counting them as valid when they're most definitely invalid. Okay? Someone who's moved or is a non-citizen is going to be valid long before someone that's dead is going to be valid, because they don't vote anymore. They're not here. You see? But this is how far they go to manipulate. And the American people will not wake up. But the reason I speak as a man, the reason why information like this is coming out now, because it puts more wood in the fire, more fuel to the fire. Because if the American people do wake up to this, especially if it happens again, Trump got all these high numbers, but Kamala's just so happens to win, and then this is out here, it gives the people an answer to say, yeah, this is what they did, this is why they did it, and all it does, it makes anger, makes more anger, it fuels more fire. Okay, they're rousing up the American people at every nook, cranny, and turn, man, on both sides. You see? Because that civil unrest is coming, man. All right?
ballots are being filled out and sent in like they're from real voters. It's all designed to overwhelm the system. It's so smooth, so well coordinated. You'd think they'd find a flaw, but they won't. Not unless they know exactly where to look. It's devastating how efficient this is. They've got it down to a science. We're focusing on the key battlegrounds, places.
Yeah, like he said, they got it down to a science, right? What do the scriptures say? That they accomplish a diligent search. All right. See, they know how to handle certain matters, especially when it comes to manipulation. And they have proved that they are wiser than Daniel and that they do accomplish diligent searches. All right, to carry things out, man. Let's keep going.
Places like Wisconsin and Florida, anywhere the vote margin is close. We know where to push to tip the scales, to make sure the results go the way they want. The worst part is, people are going to think it's real. They'll never question it because it's designed to look so seamless. I hate myself for being part of this. I never thought I'd be part of something so evil. This isn't about helping anyone, it's about power. And taking away the power of the American people to choose their own future.
You have it right there. Because everything is leading up to this digital system and the microchip, all right? That's what they're planning, to chip everybody. They really don't care what you think, say, or feel, which is why they want to, especially when the system is in play. If you think, say, or feel opposite of what they're offering and what they say is right or wrong, then you will be flagged for it, okay? You'll probably be taken away and whatever the case may be, all right? But you get the point there, all right? They want to control the entire earth as everyone being their slaves because they want to call themselves I am. That goes back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. It says the same thing in Isaiah chapter 14. They want to call themselves I am. And that's what they're looking to achieve through their digital system by way of their microchip. All right.
Hijack.
And furthermore, it starts with you Israelites because it, as we mentioned the last time, it goes back to that birthright. These people are so, I mean, they're out of their minds too, but they think that they're actually going to, I guess, manipulate or trick the Lord. Or I don't know what the heck they're thinking. All right. That's Esau for you. All right. He's like the scriptures say, the pride of his heart has deceived him. He truly thinks he's going to trick the Lord into an inheritance that doesn't belong to him. As if you could trick the Lord anyways. Okay? But that's what he's attempting to do, man. Because he wants that blessing back. Okay? And he's willing to take out all you Israelites who he can't put under his system. He's willing to take you all out so that there's none of you left, because he thinks that, well, if they're all dead and the ones that are not dead, took the system, then the Lord has to give the blessing to me. You idiots, man.
Check that right from them. I'm telling you this because I can't keep it in anymore. I've been part of rigging the US election and I regret it deeply. If this isn't exposed, the American people will lose their voice and they'll never even know it. The worst part is, we're doing it in the places that matter most, where every vote makes the difference. The country's being manipulated, and it's not by the people they think.
The global elite got away with the crime in 2020, and now they are determined to repeat the trick and hold American people to ransom. Major players in the election, including Dominion voting systems, are threatening to come after and destroy anybody on social media who dares to question them.
Bam, what we just mentioned. Dominion CEO vows to prosecute Americans who question election results this November. See? It's right there. In your face. I have to look that one up.
And their election integrity, regardless of the evidence they hold regarding criminality. The elite have already set the stage, covering their tracks before the election has even happened. If we want to stop them, we need to learn from history and see how it's been done before.
There's no stopping.
Stay tuned. We'll dive into the story of the fraudulent USPS ballots and how they stole swing states after this important message from our sponsor.
To go home.
170. from New York to Pennsylvania on October the 21st, 2020. Here's the bottom line. Truck driver Jesse Morgan transported 20...
I didn't see that coming.
I did. You know you can trade on that.
20 Gaylord boxes, each containing tens of thousands of mail-in ballots. At minimum, Morgan was carrying 1 million fake ballots for Biden, already signed and ready to go. Patrick Byrne, a prominent advocate for constitutional republicanism for government, breaks down the details for us.
It's about time I come clean about the Postal Service lawsuits we have. There's now 2 of them, and I may as well just review this briskly. In 2020, you may remember a whistleblower came forward named Jesse Morgan. He was a trucker who said that he had been given a strange trucking load, and he looked into it and he found some funny things. I'm going to walk you through what really happened there. What really happened there is this. When I built Overstock, we had an issue where sometimes you would buy what you tried not to, but you would get gray goods, and this is how that worked. And believe me, this will translate directly into discussing ballots. Somebody would go, North Face would go to Taiwan and have some factory make 10,000 sleeping bags for them. North Face, under license to North Face, so forth. That factory would stay open an extra weekend and run off another 2,000 sleeping bags. And then they would go into the market and sell them as North Face sleeping bags. Now, and you would at a great price, and as a discount, we would buy them. Well, it turns out, but it would turn out that they were forensically, they were North Face. It was the same factory, the same paperwork, the same labels, the same employees had done it. They were not actually produced under license to North Face, and so that was called gray goods. And keeping that stuff out of our supply chain was a full-time job for one lawyer, who was always looking at paperwork. Well, in the creation of ballots, the same thing happened in 2020. There was a ballot company in Michigan who won a bunch of contracts to print ballots for this county and that county all over America, about 20 different states. What they were doing was if they got a contract to print 200,000 ballots for one county, they would print up 300,000 and take those extra 100,000 and they would ship them off to Europe, to New York, to a place called Flushing, New York, which has a long history with the radical left. There was a facility there, 100 people in a room associated with a union called SEIU, filling those ballots out. And the same thing was going on with all the counties that this printing company in Michigan supplied. So these people would fill them out, a very well-organized effort, would be filling them out, and then they were sent to Bethpage, New York. And at Bethpage, New York, there was a facility on Grumman Road, I believe it was called, where these were taken and they were reintegrated into the mail. They were integrated into the mail system as possible. Now, the Bethpage, New York facility is a postal station, but it's not set up to handle first-class mail, and ballots are first-class mail. And if you're going to handle first-class mail, you need something called an Oregon machine, but they don't have an Oregon machine. But they were handling first-class mail, and they were putting them in Gaylords. What is a Gaylord? A Gaylord, there's a picture of a Gaylord on the front of this, associated with this video. A Gaylord is a box or a big canvas version of a shopping cart, but much bigger. And it's on wheels, 4 wheels. And anytime you do warehouse work where you're moving lots of letters or packages, they get put in things called Gaylords, and then you move these boxes on wheels.
As Patrick Byrne explains, the Democrats stole Pennsylvania through a multi-pronged voter fraud effort involving machines and pallets of ballots sent to key locations in the state in the back of a USPS truck. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's a full-blown conspiracy fact. We have the evidence in black and white, and it's damning.
So each Gaylord holds 50 to 100,000 ballots. Between October 18th and October 21st of 2020, 8 trucks came in from a company called Area Road and Trucking, and they were filled up with gaylords, 20 to 30 gaylords, and sent on their way to Lancaster, PA. One day, on one of those 3 days in mid-late October 2020, a trucking company, a different trucking company, its truck pulled in. It was called 10 Roads Trucking, and driven by a guy named Jesse Morgan. And somebody at the facility made a mistake, and they loaded those ballots onto his truck, the wrong company's truck. He got the paperwork, and it said, "Truck this to Lancaster, PA." He trucked it to Lancaster, PA. That was the guy. His name was Jesse Morgan. He got to Lancaster, PA. He was kept waiting for 6 hours because the paperwork wasn't from the right company and whatever hoo-ha. He went in the back of his truck and he found 20 gaylords. It may have been 20, as much as 27 gaylords. Well, if there were only 20 and each one held only 50,000, the truth is they can hold up to 100,000 ballots. 20 gaylords and 50,000 ballots, that's 1 million ballots. And by the way, these ballots, they were filled in and the outside envelopes were signed. And that's because in this facility in Flushing, New York, there were 100 union folks sitting there at tables filling out ballots for Joe Biden and signing the outside of the envelope. Of course, so that was the supply chain that got them from a printing company that was deliberately printing up gray goods, extra ballots, getting them to this left-wing group in Flushing, New York, who was filling them out and signing them, to a postal facility in Bethpage, New York, that wasn't supposed to be handling first-class mail, but yet it was handling ballots, which were first-class mail, loading them into a truck, getting them to Lancaster, PA, and there they were entering the mail system as mail-in ballots. Well, that was one of 9 trucks. We know there were 8 other trucks from some other company. So 8 or 9 times 1 million is 8 to 9 million, but it may have been 9 times 1.5 million or more. So maybe more like 12, 13 million ballots or mail-in ballots were integrated into the mail system.
Every step in this fake ballot supply chain includes hundreds of individuals complicit in a conspiracy to steal the election and silence the voices of the American people. Emboldened by their success in 2020 and the lack of consequences, they're planning to do it all over again. The case Byrne was describing is now before a federal judge in Maryland, and yet the mainstream media is still playing their parts in the cover-up by refusing to acknowledge the existence of the case. The liberal media are working overtime to convince the world that the US election can't be rigged, even though we've seen it happen before our own eyes. Do your part by sharing this video and spreading the word. The global elites are openly rigging the election, and it's up to you to alert as many people as possible to their evil agenda.
And even if you do that, there's nothing you can do about it. I know we just played a lot of video there.
And what they have planned for America. Hear the people's voice.
Yeah, and that's the end of the video. All right, so that's it. That's it on that. Okay, so you see what it is. Okay, there's nothing the American people could do about it. They can say whatever they want about it, but there's nothing they can do about it. And oh yeah, we're going to try to see if we can, not in this video, probably do it after I close out the other one that we mentioned there, about being able to speak out. All right, so you see what's going on, because at some point, the American people will wake up to what's truly going on, whether it be before or after the results of the election, who knows? But eventually, everybody's going to end up seeing, okay, and I speak as a man, probably, everybody's going to end up seeing what's going on, especially dealing with the results of the election. And hey, there's going to be a lot of angry Americans, man. All right, and we're looking forward to a civil war, civil unrest. All right, we're ready for the system to shut down. We're tired of going to work or scrambling for money or this, that, and the third thing, all right? We're waiting for these things to happen because we know these things have to happen in order for us to get out of here and receive the kingdom of heaven, through that salvation, so, I mean, hey, what else is there to say about it, man? Suffer, Lord, will you edify? Shalom.